Millionaire discovers Maid inking her cancer-stricken daughter. And takes a life-changing stand. Thomas Mitchell strolled through the grand hall of his Maplewood estate, marble floors glistening under the chandelier's glow. Each step echoed with the hollow thud of his heart, a stark reminder of emptiness beneath his $1,000,000 facade. But today, the sound of a buzzing needle pierced through the silence, drawing him towards a closed door. Compelled by curiosity, he opened it. Inside, Maria, his devoted maid, knelt by a small table, her focused gaze fixed on a tiny figure beside her. Sophia, barely 10, winced as her mother gently pressed the needle into her skin. In a world so far removed from Thomas's privilege, Maria was creating a symbol of hope, a delicate phoenix rising from the ashes. Tears welled in Sophia's eyes, but a brave smile broke through her fear. Thomas felt like a spectator in a theater of raw emotion. Here was Maria, a single mother, pouring her soul into an act of defiance against a relentless illness that had stolen the brightness from her daughter's eyes. In an instant, guilt washed over him like a cold wave. He was wrapped in luxury, while Maria battled each day to keep hope alive. That hollow satisfaction. It crumbled into dust. As he observed, the reality of their disparate worlds struck him fiercely. Maria's spirit ignited something within him. How could he sit in his sunlit office, sipping fine whiskey while she endured such painful sacrifices? The buzzing of the needle reminded him of sparking electricity, a calling for change, a desire to reach outside his ivory tower. Before he knew it, he blurted out, "Let me help." Maria looked up, eyes defiant yet softened with confusion. The tension thickened as she lifted her chin, her pride visible in every motion. He stepped forward, caught in a web of intentions that felt clumsy and misplaced. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue, but in that moment, Maria's expression hardened. She didn't want charity, she wanted dignity. As word spread of Sophia's battle, the community rallied around them, but their trust in Thomas waned. The gestures he thought were generous carried the weight of condescension. He decided to launch a charity aimed at families like Maria's, a noble idea skewed by inner conflict. As the town's hope flourished, whispers of his true motives began to surface. Was he a savior or merely a man wanting to ease his own guilt? Then, an opportunistic politician entered the scene, drawing lines and positioning himself like a hawk eyeing prey. Thomas felt a fire ignite within him. Enough was enough. This was more than just a project, it was about people, lives intertwined. As their paths crossed, the rift grew. In that moment of confrontation, both families reeled under the weight of truths unvoiced. Thomas and Maria could either bridge this chasm of privilege or let it widen irrevocably. Unity buzzed in the air, but could he truly appreciate their fight while sheltered in wealth? As the chapter closed, the question lingered like smoke: could Thomas step into the light of true allyship, or would he retreat into the shadows of his privilege once more? Thomas was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Maria's determination and pride unsettled him. He knew she wouldn't accept his help lightly. He wanted to change, to be something more than just a wealthy man looking in from the outside. The weight of his decision clamped down on him like a vice. Why not just be honest? He muttered under his breath, frustration coursing through him. The politician in town, Eddie Wright, had been all smiles and empty promises as he seized the moment. His charm dripped like honey over baked bread, but Thomas saw through it. Eddie didn't care about Sophia or any other child suffering. He saw votes and headlines, and that made Thomas burn with indignation. Just a photo op. The sentiment echoed in Thomas's mind, but what could he do to change it? He needed to show Maria and himself that this was about more than guilt. It was about respect. Instead of retreating to his office, he stepped outside into the crisp autumn air. Leaves crunched beneath his feet as he walked toward his sports car, but the sound felt out of place. It didn't match the enormity of what he was diving into. He pulled out his phone. Could a simple message change anything? He scrolled through his contacts until he found Maria. "Can we talk? Please. For real this time." Little did he know that Maria was standing on the porch of her small apartment, looking out at the street. The dim light illuminated her face, revealing both strength and uncertainty. The idea of accepting help, especially from Thomas, left a knot in her stomach. She had managed everything on her own thus far. To accept assistance would feel like surrender. A soft knock at the door startled her. It was her sister, Elena, who had moved in to help support the family. "Are you all right? You look lost in thought." Maria shook her head. "I am just trying to figure things out. Thomas wants to help, but I can't let my pride get in the way." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Maria, maybe this is about more than just pride. Isn't it time someone else stepped in to help?" It felt like a foreign concept. But what if she turned him down and missed an opportunity for Sophia? Maria clenched her fists. But who is he really? Is he sincerely trying to help, or is this to cleanse his conscience? Elena stepped closer, placing a comforting hand on her sister's shoulder. "Sometimes we have to risk a little vulnerability for those we love." Meanwhile, Thomas drove through the community, scanning the houses he rarely saw. He passed kids playing in the streets, families gathering for meals, and a vibrancy filled with hope. All were battling circumstances he barely understood. As he drove, he thought about the upcoming charity event. It was the perfect opportunity for the community to come together. He envisioned it as a festival, a celebration, not a pity party. If he could engage everyone, maybe he could build trust. Once he parked, he took a deep breath and pulled out his phone again. He drafted a message to the town council. This was a chance to show he wasn't just a millionaire but a part of this community. Back at Maria's apartment, a vibration broke the silence. Her phone lit up with a message from Thomas. "Let South meet at the park. No cameras, just us. I want this to be about Sophia." The proposition hung in the air, and Maria felt the walls of uncertainty closing in. Would she take a leap of faith, or was it time to walk away and do things her own way? As her heart raced, she whispered to herself, "What do I have to lose?" The stakes were rising, emotions tangled in a web of fear and hope. Could Maria really trust Thomas, and would he be the ally the community needed as they faced down their struggles? Maria stood frozen, phone in hand, the glow illuminating her face against the fading light of dusk. The park loomed in her mind, a familiar place filled with laughter, now transformed into a battleground of uncertainty. As her pulse quickened, thoughts raced. What if this was just another hollow promise from Thomas? Yet, part of her was desperate. Sophia needed hope, maybe even a chance at recovery. She could almost hear her sister's voice echoing in her mind, insisting on the importance of letting her guard down. With a decisive breath, Maria texted back. "Okay. I'll be there." The world around her faded as she prepared to face the unknown. She felt like a tightrope walker, balancing precariously between pride and the well-being of her daughter. Meanwhile, Thomas arrived at the park, his heart thumping with anticipation. The autumn breeze brushed against him, stirring the leaves on the ground. He took a moment, absorbing the scene, families laughing, children running, a couple sharing an intimate moment on a bench. This was life, a life he wanted to understand, to become a part of. As he glanced at his watch, doubt began to creep in. Would Maria even show? Had he misread her entirely? What if she thought he was just here to fulfill some obligation rather than genuinely wanting to help? But just then, he spotted Maria approaching. The moment felt charged, as if the air itself was holding its breath. She looked nervous, yet fierce. In that instant, he saw not just a mother but a warrior determined to protect her child and fight against the odds. "Maria," he called out, stepping forward as she neared. "Thomas." Her voice was steady, but he could detect a hint of wariness in her eyes. "Thank you for meeting me." He paused, struggling with the right words. "I know this is a big ask. But I want to help, and I want you to feel secure with that." She crossed her arms, a defensive stance entirely understandable. "Why should I believe you? You're a millionaire with everything at your fingertips. What do you really know about struggle?" Her honesty stung, but he respected her. "I've spent too much time looking away, living in my bubble. I want to make a real difference, not just smooth my conscience. I promise, this isn't about me. It's about Sophia." Her expression softened, if only slightly. "And how do you plan to do that? Because I really don't need another empty promise. By starting with this charity event. I want to make it a celebration, a real day for the community. We can raise awareness, funds, whatever it takes. I want to get everyone involved, to take down the barriers that divide us." Maria took a breath, considering his proposal. Could this be the opportunity she had been yearning for? But fear gnawed at her. "And what if it doesn't work?" "It will, because together, we can make it happen." His earnestness was palpable, and for the first time, she glimpsed a flicker of sincerity in his eyes. But her instincts still held her back. "It's going to take more than just good intentions, Thomas." He nodded, sensing the gravity of her doubt. "You're right. I'm not just asking for your trust, I'm willing to earn it. Every step of the way." As they stood facing each other, the distance began to close, and the sound of laughter faded into the background. "Let me talk to Sophia," she finally said, heart racing at the thought. "If we're going to do this, she deserves to know." "Absolutely." The relief flooded through him, and he felt a spark of hope ignite. This was the start of something transformative, for both of them. However, as a slight breeze rustled the leaves, Maria wondered if she was indeed ready to blend their worlds. It was a leap into the unknown, and she couldn't shake the nagging feeling that deeper truths than just their past awaited discovery. "Meet me tomorrow," Maria said finally, voice firm. "For Sophia." "Thank you," he replied, his heart swelling. But as they turned to leave, a shadow fell over the park, and Maria's unease grew. What awaited them both could change everything, and soon they would learn if the path they chose was a step towards healing, or a deeper entanglement in their fears. As night fell around them, the air felt charged with tentative hope, but Maria couldn't shake an unsettling thought. What if this was more than she bargained for? Maria arrived home late that evening, the weight of her decision pressing down on her shoulders like a heavy coat. The familiar creaks of the old house echoed in her ears, whispering tales of years spent fighting, hoping, and sometimes losing. Sophia was already asleep, her small body curled under a patchwork quilt, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing outside her dreams. Maria quietly walked into the room, taking a moment to watch her daughter. The way Sophia's chest rose and fell with each breath filled Maria with a blend of love and anxiety. Each peaceful moment was a reminder of what was at stake. The charity event loomed in her mind like a shadow. Could it bring real change? A part of her struggled with the idea that a stranger like Thomas could help in any meaningful way. The bitterness flared inside her. He had never known the sleepless nights of worry or the gut-wrenching doctor's visits. But there was also something about him. In that brief moment in the park, she had seen a glimpse of determination in his eyes that made her want to believe. As she settled on the edge of Sophia's bed, she felt a familiar tug at her heart. She couldn't keep living in fear, she had to try for her daughter, even if it meant teaming up with someone she didn't fully trust. But how much faith should she place in someone like Thomas? The next morning, Maria made her way through the routine of breakfast, fighting to push down the anxiety pooling in her stomach. With a toast in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other, she rehearsed what she would tell Sophia. It wasn't just about the event, it was about fighting for a future that still felt so fragile. Finally, the clock struck noon. It was time to tell Sophia the news. She knocked gently on her daughter's door, welcoming the soft murmurs of sleep with one foot inside. "Sophia, honey, it's time to wake up." Groggy eyes blinked back at her. Mom. What is going on? Maria smiled, ruffling her hair. We need to talk. I have something important to tell you. Sophia sat up, concern flickering across her face. Is it about the doctor? No, it's different. It's about someone who wants to help us, help you, Maria began, her voice steady despite the whirlwind inside. She explained the event, how Thomas wanted to raise awareness, and how she was considering accepting his offer. As she spoke, she watched Sophia's face transform. There was a mix of hope, excitement, and caution, each emotion dancing across her features. But Mom, what if it doesn't work? What if he's just trying to feel good about himself? I understand that worry. I feel it too, Maria admitted, her heart aching. But what if this is a chance we can't ignore? For you, for us. Sophia bit her lip, her eyes glistening. For a moment, Maria feared rejection, but instead, she saw something else, a flicker of yearning for change. So we're really going to do this? Yes. We'll take it one step at a time, together, Maria reassured her, feeling a new determination rise within her, a sense of purpose stronger than her fears. As mother and daughter embraced, the weight of uncertainty began to lighten, if only slightly. But then, just as hope seemed to solidify like dawn breaking, Maria's phone chimed with a message that would send ripples through her world. She glanced at the screen, her pulse quickening. It was Thomas, and the message read, I just got some information that might change everything. Can we meet sooner? The chill that ran down her spine pierced through the warmth of the moment. What could possibly change? A sense of dread mixed with curiosity consumed her as she walked into the hallway, wondering if she was prepared for whatever this new twist might reveal. What other truths lay hidden beneath the surface? What if this wasn't just about raising funds or awareness? What if this was a deeper connection forged by fate? Maria stood alone in the hallway, her heart racing. Thomas's message felt like a pebble dropped into a still pond, sending ripples outward. What new revelation could he possibly have? Did it concern Sophia? She hugged her phone tightly, uncertainty swirling in her mind. Sophia's voice snapped her back to reality. Mom, are you okay? Maria turned, forcing a smile even as her insides twisted. I'm fine, honey. Just got a message from Thomas. I'm going to meet him. Oh. Sophia bounced slightly on her bed. Is it about the event? Yes, something like that, Maria replied, trying to maintain casualness in her tone. Just some details we need to talk about. When she stepped into the kitchen, the walls felt slightly hunched over her, like they were holding their breath. As she brewed another cup of coffee, she thought about how her life had become so intertwined with the mystery surrounding Thomas, a man she barely knew but who seemed to hold a glimmer of hope for her daughter. The coffee dripped into the mug slowly, and with each drop, anxiety scratched at her resolve. What if he wasn't the person she hoped he was? What if this ended up hurting Sophia more? But then, what if he was the answer they had been searching for? The thought of Sophia's smile ignited a flicker of courage in her heart. She needed to believe that this was a journey worth taking. The clock ticked on, and finally, it was time. Maria slid on her coat, feeling the weight of it pressed down heavily. Just as she opened the front door, Sophia called out, Mom. Turning around, she was met with wide, earnest eyes. Be careful, okay? I don't want you to get hurt. Maria went to her daughter and knelt to meet her gaze. I promise, I will. Just stay here and work on your drawing for the event. I'll be back before you know it. Sophia nodded, biting her lip in that way Maria knew meant she was still worried. Maria tried to ease her daughter's concern with a soft smile, but her own heart felt unsteady as she stepped out into the brisk air. The drive to the cafe where they agreed to meet felt like an eternity. Each passing car, tree, and building blurred as her thoughts raced. Would Thomas really have something to change everything? Or was the message simply another distraction in a battle that was already heavy with uncertainty? When she arrived, she spotted Thomas at a corner table. He looked deep in thought, a frown creasing his brow. As she approached, his eyes met hers, and she noticed a flash of something. Was it determination or desperation? "Glad you could make it," he said, pushing his cup aside. "Your message, it seemed urgent," Maria replied, her voice steady, though her heart thudded loudly in her chest. He hesitated, searching her face. "I've been digging into some things. There's more to the story than you know about the funding, the event, and your situation." Maria narrowed her eyes, urgency pooling in her gut. "What do you mean?" Thomas leaned in, lowering his voice as if the walls themselves had ears. "There are connections between my family and the charity world that might unlock doors. But there is something personal too. You need to hear it all." As he spoke, Maria held her breath, afraid of where this conversation could lead. The weight of the world felt impossibly heavy again, but just as she felt like she might buckle under it, Thomas continued. And in that moment, she realized whatever revelations lay ahead, she had already taken the biggest leap for Sophia. With a steadying breath, Maria prepared herself for a truth she knew would change everything, but as the words hung in the air like fragile whispers waiting to be voiced, another message dinged on her phone. It was from Sophia. "Mom, I'm really worried. Something doesn't feel right." A chill ran down her spine as her mind raced. What had she just walked into? What had her daughter sensed from so far away? And just like that, the curtain rose on a new act in their uncertain journey, with stakes higher than Maria had ever imagined. Maria's pulse quickened as she read Sophia's message. Panic gripped her for a moment, blurring Thomas's words. Something doesn't feel right. That phrase gnawed at her, a thread pulling taut between mother and daughter. Her instinct screamed that she needed to react, to protect. "Can we pause for a moment?" she breathed, urgency spilling from her. Thomas looked surprised but nodded. "Of course. What is going on?" "Sorry, it's just my daughter," she texted. "She's worried about something," Maria replied, her throat tight. She could picture Sophia's face, concern etched in those brown eyes that mirrored her own. "I should probably reach out to her." "Sure, go ahead." His tone softened, and for a moment, their shared worry became a fragile bridge between them. Maria quickly typed a response, reassuring Sophia that everything was okay, that she was with Thomas and would explain when she got home. It wasn't much, but she hoped it would ease her daughter's heart, if only for a moment. She looked back up, meeting Thomas's gaze. "I'm sorry for interrupting. It's just she's been through so much." "I can understand that." He studied her, expression shifting from urgency to empathy. "What I have to share might change things for you both. But only if you're ready to hear it." The weight of his words settled heavily in her chest. "I'm ready." He leaned back slightly, gathering his thoughts. "I found out that there are funding issues connected to the event. It's not just about raising money, someone has been pulling strings behind the scenes." "Strings? What do you mean?" The tightness in her chest shifted to confusion. He hesitated again, biting his lip as he searched for the right words. "Someone in my family, they're involved in this charity. They've kept secrets, and some of those secrets point right at what's affecting your daughter." "Secrets?" Her heart hammered louder as shadows of doubt flitted through her mind. "What kind of secrets?" "There's a financial conspiracy at play, one that could leave people vulnerable. I believe it has ramifications for Sophia's condition." Her breath hitched. Could this really be possible? "You think this is about the health funding?" "Exactly. Someone might be withholding resources that could help her. It's not just bureaucratic red tape, it feels personal." The world around them faded as she processed his words. The cafe's chatter faded to a blur, the rich aroma of coffee no longer mattered. Her only thought was Sophia. But why? Why would anyone do that? Thomas ran a hand through his hair, frustration written all over his face. "I don't know yet, but the deeper I dug, the more connections I found. It points to someone who has ties to your situation. I need your help to uncover it all." His voice was steady but the urgency made her heart race. Could they really be on the verge of something significant? Just then, her phone buzzed again. She glanced down to see another message from Sophia. "Mom, please come home." I'm scared. Maria's heart dropped. She needed to be there. "I have to go," she said suddenly, standing up. "Wait. You can't just leave now. We're on to something." "I know. But Sophia needs me. I can't ignore that." He looked torn but nodded slowly, understanding flashing in his eyes. "Okay. Just promise me that you'll think about what I said." She nodded, but her mind felt cluttered, emotions roiling like a storm inside her. As she rushed out of the cafe, the cold air didn't touch her. All she could think of was getting home, to be with Sophia and figure out what was truly wrong. Yet, a chilling thought crept in. Had she stepped into a web of deception that could endanger her daughter further? As dread settled in the pit of her stomach, Maria realized that this was just the beginning. What new threats lingered in the shadows, waiting to strike? And what would it take to uncover a truth that could turn their lives upside down? As Maria hurried home, the weight of her unshakable worry pressed hard on her chest. Each step felt heavier, the air thicker as she envisioned Sophia sitting alone in their dimly lit living room. What was her daughter scared of? The questions swirled, fueling her anxiety like dry kindling catching fire. She reached their apartment just as the last light of day faded into dusk, painting the sky in deep hues of purple and gray. The familiar creak of the door sounded alarmingly loud in the quiet hallway as she pushed it open. "Sophia?" Maria called, her voice trembling slightly. "Mom?" Sophia's voice came from the living room, thick with emotion. Maria followed the sound, her heart racing in sync with her quickening steps. Sophia was curled up on the couch, clutching a blanket around her shoulders as if it were armor. Maria's heart broke at the sight of her daughter, so small and vulnerable. "What's wrong, sweetie?" she asked, softening her tone as she approached. "I don't know, I just feel weird. Like something bad is going to happen," Sophia confessed, her gaze darting around the room as if the shadows were alive. Maria knelt by the couch, taking Sophia's cold hands in hers. "I'm here. You don't have to be scared, I promise." But inside, doubt gnawed at her. Could that feeling be connected to the secrets Thomas had hinted at? She had to know more, but this moment was for Sophia. "I just have this feeling like I can't breathe sometimes," Sophia whispered, tears pooling in her eyes. "And what about the doctors? They keep saying wait and see, but that just feels like a game to me." The frustration in her daughter's voice echoed the very thoughts Maria had felt for so long. "It's okay to feel that way," she said, brushing a hair away from Sophia's forehead. "We'll figure this out together." Maria wished there were magic words to erase the pain, to make life simpler for her daughter. She felt the urgency of the situation swell in her chest. A part of her wanted to reach out to Thomas for help, to understand what strings were being pulled. But the mother in her screamed that Sophia's well-being had to come first. They sat in the cocoon of the blanket, silence wrapping around them. The clock ticked in the background, each second a reminder of the passage of time and the uncertainty still lying ahead. Maria broke the stillness, the thought forming painfully clear. "Do you want to go for a walk? Just us? Maybe some fresh air will help." Sophia nodded, her expression softening. "Yeah, I'd like that." Maria helped her up and they drifted outside, the chill in the air laced with the promise of hope. As they walked side by side, the evening stars began sparking to life above. Maria felt the balm of the cool air spreading through her, calming her racing mind. "It's beautiful out here, isn't it?" she said, trying to distract Sophia from the worry still dancing in her eyes. But the truth weighed heavy between them, and Maria knew it wouldn't vanish so easily. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket again. She pulled it out, her heart skipping a beat when she saw Thomas's name flash across the screen. "I have to check this," she murmured, Half afraid it was another message from him related to the conspiracy hovering like a cloud over them, Sophia watched her with a furrowed brow. Is it about the charity thing? Maybe Maria hesitated but felt the need to be open. I think there could be something that affects us, even you. I just don't want anything to change, Sophia said softly, and Maria felt her heart break again. As Maria's fingers trembled over the screen, she sensed the weight of the night pressing around them. I know, baby. But sometimes change can lead us to something better. At that moment, a message popped up that made her blood run cold. We need to talk. I found something important. What new revelations awaited them, and how would it shift everything she thought she understood? Maria chewed her lip as she stared at the screen, her heart pounding in her chest. We need to talk. I found something important. Was this about Sophia? Her mind raced with every possible scenario, none of which eased her growing anxiety. Sophia's small voice pulled her back into reality. Mom, is everything okay? The concern in her daughter's eyes struck her like a punch. Maria quickly pressed the phone into her pocket, hoping to shield Sophia from whatever storm was brewing. Yeah, sweetie, everything's fine, she lied, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. The last thing she wanted was for Sophia to sense her turmoil. They continued walking, the chill in the air wrapping around them like a cold embrace. They made their way to a nearby park, the playground still buzzing with the sounds of laughter from kids who hadn't yet noticed the nightfall. Maria closed her eyes for a moment, picturing Sophia as a child, unmarked by fear and worry. Remember when you used to climb all the way to the top of the jungle gym? She asked, trying to elicit a smile. Yeah, until I fell, Sophia replied, a hint of a reluctant grin breaking through. I cried for like an hour. Maria laughed softly. But you got back up, didn't you? That's what counts. A quiet moment settled between them, filled only with the distant sounds of joy from the playground. Despite the laughter surrounding them, an unsettling current buzzed in the air, anchoring Maria's thoughts to the looming message. What could it be? She muttered under her breath. Mom. Sophia's voice was a gentle nudge. Maria shook off her thoughts, focusing back on her daughter. What is it, honey? Do you think things will ever go back to how they were? The question pierced Maria's heart. There was no sugarcoating it. Things had changed. I hope so, she said softly. But sometimes, change can bring something good, too. We just need to keep our hearts open. Sophia nodded but still seemed lost in her own fear. Maria brushed her fingers through her daughter's hair, desperate to convey comfort. They lingered in this embrace, trying to chase away the darkness lingering on the edges of their lives. Suddenly, a group of children ran past them, chasing after a soccer ball. Maria's heart ached at the sight, a reminder of the innocence that Sophia yearned for. Let us sit for a minute, she suggested, directing Sophia to a nearby bench. As they settled down, Maria felt the weight of her phone in her pocket, Thomas's message pressing against her, a reminder of the world outside this fragile moment. Sophia, I want you to know that whatever happens, I'm right here with you, she said firmly, searching her daughter's eyes. I know, Mom. Sophia looked up, her voice stronger. I just wish we didn't have to deal with everything. Maria longed to erase the struggle for her precious girl, to make everything right. I will do everything I can to protect you. I promise. Just then, her phone vibrated again. This time, it felt like a bolt of lightning. Maria hesitated but instinctively grabbed it. Only this time, the message was something entirely different. Meet me tomorrow at noon. I have hard evidence. You need to see this. Fear and curiosity clenched in her chest, and it took everything in her to swallow the lump rising in her throat. What evidence? And how could it possibly change everything in their lives? She looked over at Sophia, who gazed back at her with an unreadable expression. Maria was torn between wanting to dig deeper into the mystery that could threaten their safety and wanting to shield her daughter from the world's dangers. Mom. Sophia asked again, breaking her thoughts. What's wrong? Maria took a deep breath. I think we may be getting closer to understanding what's happening. But I don't know how it's going to change things for us. Sophia's eyes searched hers, wide with concern mixed with a flicker of bravery. Just promise me we'll face it together. The gravity of that promise settled heavily between them, a silent oath surrounding their hearts. Together, Maria echoed softly. As they sat there, wrapped in each other's protection, she wondered how much longer they could ignore the truth surrounding them. Tomorrow promised to unveil secrets that might shatter their fragile peace, secrets that could change everything. And as Maria felt the night closing in, she knew this was just the beginning. The next morning broke with a heavy sky, clouds swirling ominously overhead. Maria stood by the window, watching raindrops race down the glass, her heart heavy with the burden of the unknown. The relief of sleep had evaded her, leaving an anxious energy buzzing in her veins. Today was the day. She turned to Sophia, who was still curled up on the couch, the blanket cocooning her like a fragile butterfly. Maria walked over and gently shook her shoulder. Sweetie, it's time to wake up. We have to get ready. Sophia stirred sleepily, stretching out like a cat before sitting up, her hair tousled and wild. Is it time for school? She mumbled, rubbing her eyes. Maria knelt beside her, taking a deep breath. No school today, honey. We've got something else to do. Sophia's brow furrowed, concern flitting across her face. Is it about the thing? Maria nodded, wishing she could brush all the fears away. Yes, it is. But we're in this together, remember? After a hurried breakfast of toast and fruit, they got dressed. Sophia picked her favorite blue dress, the one with white flowers, while Maria slipped on a simple black blazer over an old, trusty blouse. She felt a need to project strength, even if her insides felt like a storm ready to break. As they walked toward the meeting place, Maria's thoughts spiraled. What was this evidence Thomas claimed to have? What had her life become? She glanced at Sophia every now and then, wanting to reach out and squeeze her hand in assurance, yet fearing that it might reveal more of the turmoil swirling inside her. They arrived at the cafe a few minutes early. The chatter of patrons provided a strange comfort, but it didn't take away the anticipation weighing on Maria's soul. She spotted Thomas at a corner table, his usually upbeat demeanor shadowed by something grave. Thomas, thank you for meeting us, Maria said, allowing herself a moment of hope. Maria, I wish it were under better circumstances. Thomas's eyes flickered to Sophia, who stood close to Maria, clutching her mother's hand. I didn't want you to come alone. What is going on? Maria pressed, sitting down across from him. The words felt like jagged glass in her throat. Thomas pulled out his phone and opened a document. I've been digging into some files, and what I found shakes everything I thought I knew. His voice quivered slightly, betraying the stress he seemed so capable of hiding. What do you mean? Maria's heart raced. She glanced at Sophia, whose innocent curiosity was now met with fear. Thomas leaned in closer, lowering his voice. It's about your husband and the company. Maria's breath caught in her throat. Memories came rushing back, arguments, secrets, missing pieces. She listened intently, her eyes locked on Thomas, desperate for clarity. He's been involved in some shady networks, Maria. I don't know how deep it goes, but I found documents connecting him to some very dangerous people. Sophia's ears perked up at the mention of danger, confusion clouding her young face. Danger? Mom, what does that mean? Maria fought back tears, choking out words. It means we're not safe, Sophia. Not if what Thomas is saying is true. Thomas put a comforting hand on Maria's before sliding his phone toward her. You need to see this. You'll understand why I think you need to go somewhere safe now. As she scanned the screen, images and names jumped out at her, twisting her gut. It was all falling into place. Mom. Sophia's voice broke through. Are we okay? Is this about Dad? At that moment, Maria realized the weight of the truth she now carried. The room felt suffocating, and her heart echoed in her ears. She needed a plan, a way to navigate this terrifying new reality, but how could she protect Sophia from just how twisted this world was? And as the cafe bustled around them, Maria knew that from this point forward, their lives would never be the same and the danger was only just beginning. As Maria stared at the screen, her heart raced. A world of secrets, betrayal, and danger unfurled before her. She could see the names linked to her husband. The familiar, warm smile of the man she had loved now felt like a mask hiding something sinister. "Sophia, listen to me," Maria said, her voice shaky yet resolute. "We need to get you out of here. We're going to be okay, but we have to act fast." Sophia's eyes were wide with confusion and fear. "Mom, what are you saying? Is Dad involved in something bad?" The weight of truth pressed heavily on Maria's chest. She had spent so long shielding her daughter from this dark reality, and now the facade was crumbling. "Yes, honey, but we'll figure it out together," Maria replied, squeezing Sophia's hand tighter. She glanced at Thomas, whose face reflected both concern and determination. "Can you help us get to a safe place?" Thomas nodded, his expression serious. "I can get you both to a retreat. It's a safe space where you can think clearly and stay hidden while we sort this out." A retreat. The idea felt foreign, yet it glimmered with a hint of hope amidst the chaos. Maria took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment. "Okay, let us do it. But first, I need to understand everything. We can't just run blindly." Thomas leaned in closer, lowering his voice. "Maria, your husband has been skimming funds from charities, leaving families like yours in the lurch. He's connected with people who don't shy away from using threats. I need you to trust me. I can't let you stay here." Anger blazed within her. This was the man who had promised to protect Sophia. What gives him the right to play with our lives, our hopes? Her voice trembled with an outpour of frustration and hurt. "I don't know, but I promise I will do everything I can to help you both. You just have to trust me." Maria took a moment. Trust was hard, especially now. But there was no other choice. The fight within her flared. They couldn't fall prey to this darkness. Not again. "Okay," Maria said finally, her voice steadier. "When can we leave?" Sophia squeezed her mother's hand. "Are we leaving now, Mom?" "Yes, sweetheart. We just need to pack a few things. Stay close to me." As they stood to leave, she felt the surge of adrenaline pushing her forward. This was the point of no return. Together, they were stepping into the unknown, a tight-knit family woven in love and resilience, ready to face whatever dangers lurked ahead. Outside the cafe, the rain poured down, drenching the sidewalks, but Maria felt a strange sense of liberation with each raindrop. With each step toward the car parked just down the street, she imagined Sophia smiling without worries, running freely with no shadows darkening her heart. In the back seat of the car, Sophia leaned against Maria, clutching her tightly. "Will everything be okay, Mom?" Maria brushed her fingers through her daughter's hair, flooding with determination. "It will be, I promise. We just need to stick together. Remember what I always say, being brave doesn't mean you're not scared, it means facing those fears head-on." Sophia nodded, a flicker of hope sparkling in her eyes. As the world sped by outside their window, Maria turned to Thomas. "What's our next step?" He glanced in the rearview mirror, his voice firm. "We head to the retreat. Once there, we'll lay low for a while, gather information, and then decide how to confront this head-on." Maria felt the gravity of their situation resonate within her, but alongside it rose an unyielding strength. This journey would be perilous, facing secrets that threatened to unravel lives. But she knew they'd emerge stronger together. As the rain continued to fall and the car sped into the distance, Maria whispered a promise to her daughter. They would reclaim their lives. They would fight back against whatever had been hidden in the dark. The path ahead would be challenging, but only together would they find the light that had always been within reach, and as they drove deeper into the unknown, Maria felt something shift within her. Something powerful. Hope wouldn't be extinguished by fear. Here was rebirth, a chance for a new beginning, a life defined not by what they had lost but by what they could become. This was their moment, and they would seize it. Now, as this journey comes to its astonishing conclusion, take a moment to embrace your part in this story. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and uplift. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the fire of these stories burning. Comment below your reactions, share your feelings about this powerful journey, and connect with those who resonate with this transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this. Change. Your actions matter, and true fans know the impact of lifting each other up.